I can see if I can get a copy in a moment. If you have do you have the link to the agenda, Madison, from the email?
Yeah, I just put it, I think I did it, I copied it from the browser, so it
Perfect.
should work.
Yes. I was worried this month because I had to use 2026 and was wondering how many times I might put 2025.
I do a daily journal, and I can't tell you how many times I put that line to make the 5 into a 6 this past 21 days. So
You'll get there.
yeah.
It's transition. It's almost February though. I can't believe that. So. Hi again, everyone. Everybody's just joining. Today's meeting agenda is on the screen and we'll start in at 2:05. Thank you. And everybody, we like a lot of chat. This is a good opportunity to connect with everyone. If you haven't seen anybody in a while, we're very supportive of sharing video here. But I'm just happy to see you all on the first month of the year. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Katie Sharp, and I am the chair of the Kitsap Housing and Homelessness Coalition. And before we get started, I'd like to make sure everybody is aware of our vision, mission, and values. Our vision is every person in our community has a safe, decent, stable, and appropriate home. Our mission is that we provide leadership to end homelessness through planning, coordination among social service providers, advocacy, and education. And the coalition strives to carry out our mission with respect, commitment, compassion, integrity, and a willingness to change. And I couldn't do what I do without the help of the executive committee. We meet monthly to discuss the meeting topics and kind of all of the initiatives that we're working on outside of the meetings. And I appreciate all the volunteers that support the executive committee. Madison Tuttle is the new vice chair with support from Leif Wegner of Easter Seals, Carl Borg from Kitsap County, Eric Harold from the Salvation Army, Katie Knutson from the HEN program, Bridget Glasspool from KMHS, Allie Moyer from the Housing Solutions Center, Charlie Thompson from Fishline, Jessica Martin from Housing Solutions Center. Janae Longoria is a new member from Benedict House, and Scott Willard is also a new member from Kitsap Homes of Compassion. And our meeting is recorded every month. Thank you to the conduit. And so it can be shared out if you miss our meetings. If there is a specific point we share that you want to get more information on, that is posted to the conduit YouTube channel. Last month, we had a great meeting. I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing. Last month, we had a great meeting. We talked a little bit about what KHHC does, and we appreciate all the involved participants. I know it was December, but just thankful that we could present that information. If you did miss it, please go back to the conduit and watch that meeting. It was more about what the coalition does around education and supporting Kitsap County's housing homeless plan, the 5-year plan that was just released at the end of last year. And what we really realized is it cemented this idea that this meeting is truly about sharing resources. How do we get to a point of really connecting with each other and sharing resources that are important to all of us? And that's a big value we bring to our community. And the fact that we can do that virtually is great. And so Madison's going to host a discussion about how we can. So we're going to continue to share resources, bring presentations to you all, have an outlet for you to share information about your agencies and learn from others, but also see if we have a need to have an icebreaker or some other way to connect on this call as well. Since it is a 2-hour block, how can we bring a connection component? So Madison.
Yeah, so we wanted to have a brief discussion. I think I'm scheduled for 5 minutes, so that's real brief. But we're just going to chat about like how to facilitate connections with each other. We had a couple ideas about like breakout rooms potentially at the beginning of the meeting or like optionally at the end of the meeting, so that way you can network with other folks around different topics or service areas. So we just wanted some feedback about like what would help you feel more connected to other folks in this meeting. So if you want to unmute or drop in the chat, we could also start asking again. Like some people are of the habit of putting their names and positions and or agencies in the chat. That's great. Do we want to encourage that further? So does anyone have any thoughts about what kind of icebreaker or connection activities that they would really enjoy doing in this group? Can we do a poll, Katie?
Yeah,
You
we
know how
can
to do
set up
that?
a poll. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe we could do like introductions in chat versus breakout rooms beforehand or breakout rooms after.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do it right now.
Okay, cool. So that may be an easier way to get some silent
Feedback.
participation. But also if anyone has any thoughts, please unmute or drop them in the chat and I'll read them.
Yeah, I'm setting it up now.
I think the optional breakout rooms at the end would be kind of fun because then if you don't have time, you don't have to join. But if you have time and you want to connect with other folks, you could make that time. But that's my personal opinion. Let's see. We are not fans of breakout rooms. What about a quarterly or 2 times a year in-person or hybrid meetings? We talked about in-person meetings. We could consider that. I think the consensus was they're a little hard to like organize and facilitate, but that's not, if that's what everyone wants to do, I'm sure we could.
Okay, I'm setting up the poll, everybody. Just
Thanks, Katie.
trying to figure this. Let's see here. So
Adam likes the idea of breakout rooms. Okay, cool. All together. Don't care for breakout room altogether, something we do in Pierce County. So just like a general icebreaker with everybody to help facilitate connections. That might be nice. Yes. We hold hybrid meetings for our coalitions and it is helpful but can be challenging as well. Yeah. I know a lot of work gets done before and after meetings with like the networking component. But you kind of lose that when you're virtual, right? So the in-person is kind of nice.
I'm setting this poll up. You might get an additional question that I cannot remove. Sorry, everyone. Okay. See if I can try to remove it one time and then just give up on this. Okay, right.
And you can always kind of muse on it and email the admin at KHHC if you have any thoughts later.
Okay, the poll is launched.
Great. Thanks,
That was
Katie.
really on the fly, but I like it.
That was great. Thank you. Cool. give that a minute. I passed my 5 minutes, I think. Or I don't know what time I started talking,
I
but on
think
the agenda it
you're,
says 2:10.
like we talked about, we were a little flexible. We were talking with
Yeah.
Amy earlier. We're a little flexible on the time because again, this is a great conversation to have, and let's give everybody a chance to answer the poll. And we'll
Right.
also collect the chat and put that into our data points to make it a decision for next time.
Right.
While we're doing that, I need a little bit more time anyway, because I gotta sign into something here. So give me a second.
Can you all see the results of the poll, or did you just see your vote go in? Ah,
Can they
okay.
see it?
No, they can just see the as what they entered. I
Doesn't
think.
give me an option to like post it, but if I end poll, it might.
I think when you end the poll, right now, Icebreaker in chat is winning by a small margin. Breakout rooms at the end of the meeting is a close second for anyone following along at home.
All right, so I'm gonna give it 30 more seconds and then I'm gonna close it.
Sounds good.
But I like this idea of welcoming a little bit more features from Zoom. I think there is a lot of opportunity to collect some data, like you said, a little silently, but also this will be good to help us make decisions.
Yeah.
Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ending poll. Can you, oh, and then I can share the results.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, thank you everyone for your participation and sharing your thoughts.
Yeah, we'll have a conversation about what to bring to next meeting, and we're willing to try something. And if it doesn't work, we're gonna try something else. I also like the suggestion, and it's been brought up before around, other ways to get together other than this meeting specifically, like hosting, a happy hour at some point or something like that.
Great.
Okay, so I stopped sharing. I'm closing this out. So screen is blank now. You just see the videos. Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much, Madison. And I know you're helping out with the next topic as well. But let me introduce Amy. So our next topic is about the severe weather shelters, but it's a little different perspective. We have Amy, who's the volunteer coordinator from Kitsap County Severe Weather Shelters in Silverdale. And she's going to help us learn about the guest experience. And so thank you, Amy, for being here.
My pleasure.
So we were going to chat. I prepared a couple questions to talk about the severe weather shelter. I thought it would be really great to get like a perspective of what one experiences when they go to a severe weather shelter. I think what severe weather shelter are you most familiar with?
Did you ask a question?
Yes. What severe weather shelter do you work with the most? Do you schedule for just one?
I'm just for Silverdale.
Okay.
Yeah. There are three
So-
in the county. So there's one in Kingston, one in Silverdale, and one in Port Orchard.
Great.
And
So
we
we're
each
getting
work-
Silverdale perspective.
Mhm.
Perfect. All right. So my first kind of question was, how do people get there to the severe weather shelter?
So physically, how do they get there?
Yeah.
They walk in, the buses can take them, and the county has a contract with Gather Together, Grow Together, G2G2, and they can bring them as well and return them to wherever they want to go in the morning as long as they arrange it.
Does the bus or G2G2 cost any money?
No, that's free for the shelters and for their return.
Great. When they check in, are you collecting very much information from them?
So let me back up just a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much people know about the shelter overall, but it's a Kitsap County shelter. They provide us insurance and they provide kind of oversight a little bit of operating funds, and we have support, and we have some basic rules that we all follow and procedures. And the volunteers are all background checked and vetted by the county, and we have badges. And they get to choose if they want to work at one shelter or more than one. And when the people show up, first they have to find out if we're open. So let me talk just a second about how we decide to open. So that's also not our decision, that's a county decision, and it's based on criteria that are weather based. And those are changing a little bit, like we're just now adding in reducing the amount of rainfall requirement because it used to be spread out over 2 days, but we're getting these atmospheric rivers. So we're kind of still in evolving. Anyway, the county will let me know at 7 o'clock in the morning on Mondays and Thursdays. And we have to let them know by 11 o'clock that day if we're going to be open that night. We have to be fully staffed by 11 o'clock. And the reason we have 11 o'clock is because then they let everybody else in the community know. So it goes back out to the buses, it'll actually say it on the top. It'll go out to the police and the fire and, newspaper, whatever. So, anyway, and then you can also get notified by being on the text notification.
And I just put that in the chat if you want to text the severe weather shelter to get those updates.
And so we can be activated and not open if we don't have enough volunteers to run it. But in the 9 years that Silverdale has been doing it, we have never not opened when we were activated. But some people have worked shift after shift after shift for days. Anyway, so then the guests will get it. Some of them have phones that notify them. Some of them just get it from each other, and it's on the buses going by. So they come. We start at 5 o'clock setting up, and the shelter opens at 6, and they knock on the door. And then when they come in, they may have just the clothes on them, but they may have a backpack or a shopping cart or something. And so when they come in, we ask them their name and their age, their gender. And if they would like to give us a different name or a different age or whatever, we don't check anything. It's just we record it. We give them our rules, and all of their stuff gets stored in a black bag that gets put away for the night. So they're allowed to bring certain items back with them, book, phone, cigarettes. And then they come in and they agree to our rules. I will say that the guests really, really are appreciative of our shelter. They really like to be there. Many of them thank us. And
Do you feed them while they're there?
so we have always snacks and a cup of soup and things that you could add hot water to, crackers, cookies, things like that. But we choose as our shelter, we pretty much always provide a meal as well. But that's just up to us. We also have a clothing closet that's fully stocked. And that's used pretty well, especially when we get into those really long periods of time, 28 days in a row. We're often exchanging clothes for them or giving them a jacket, and we've got sleeping bags and just other things that we feel that would be helpful to them.
Do you accept donations for the clothing closet, or do you purchase things? Both?
No, for the clothing closet, we mostly, well, both. We may supplement with purchasing, but we often get donations of what we need. We kind of streamline it to stretchy pants so they'll fit more people, and things like that. But we've got them all organized by size and shoes and boots and yeah.
What
They
are
have,
the, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say we have cots set up for
That's
them.
what I was going to ask next. Was the
And
sleeping conditions.
so they come in, and after putting their stuff into the storage area, um, then they come in and they usually sit down and start eating or whatever. They go back, put their stuff in the room. We hand them clean sheets and blankets, and they go back to their cot. They choose a cot, or if they've been there before, they may have a reserve sign, and we haven't washed their sheets between that time and now. We just made a partnership with Laundry Day, and they will be washing our sheets for us, and we get to pick them up. So that's really fantastic. We have a manager that's been with us since the beginning, and she's retiring this year. So this is our year of transition, and so we're trying to figure out what we need to do when she's not here.
How long can folks stay till in the morning?
So they come in, they can check in between 6 and 9 in the evening. And at 9 o'clock, they are not allowed to check in after that. Our doors are still open for an additional hour when they are allowed to leave and go for smoke breaks or whatever. But at 10 o'clock, the doors are locked. People are allowed to leave if they don't want to stay the night, but they can't come back until the next morning. And that's a hard thing because what if someone comes at 9:20? We want them to be there. We want them not to be out freezing. And so there are options. I can explain if it's interesting, but there are options to get them in after hours. And they tend to eat and most of them head back and go to bed. Maybe being on their phone for a little while. Lights off is at 10, except in the main sitting room where the food is and where the volunteers are. And then they get woken up at about 6. We provide a breakfast kind of affair. Sometimes it's cooked, sometimes it's oatmeal and milk, and try to be as healthy as we can. And then they have to be out by 7, and then it's cleanup time, and we close at 8. Silverdale has a fourth shift that the county doesn't have. And if the morning is going to be especially freezing, we add a fourth shift of volunteers and we extend it by a couple of hours. And then they get to stay till about 9.
Nice. Do you allow pets or service animals?
So service animals, yes, pets, no.
Okay.
And there's a form that they fill out. There's limited things, as I'm sure everyone knows, that we can or can't ask. And I think the form needs a little bit of work still, but if they fill it out and it says it's a service animal, and then it's a service animal.
I'd love to hear more about the volunteer perspective because I don't know if anyone here is considering volunteering for the severe weather shelter. But I guess my first question for that perspective is like, what is the greatest need of the Silverdale Severe Weather Shelter?
Volunteers.
Yeah.
So it's a great place to volunteer. And I say that with all sincerity because as a volunteer, my schedule is kind of always changing, not as the scheduler. But so I don't know what I'm going to be available next week or in 3 weeks. And what's great about this is you don't have to commit to a certain number of hours or certain days that you're going to be there because we don't know when we're going to be open. So for example, now I scheduled for tonight and I have scheduled for Thursday and Friday because I thought we would be open. And now I've heard that we might be open Saturday, so I just put out the word for Saturday. I kind of looked at the weather and I'm wondering if I should have said Saturday and Sunday. But you would get an email and it would say, it looks like we're going to be open or we've been activated. Are you available? And then I put down the 3 shifts and it's all done by email. And if you're not available, you're not available. You just put not available for any shift. And there's no, I do keep track, but I don't keep track for like she's never available. It's more just so that I know who's worked third shift and could train somebody else or whatever. Um, but anyway, and you're just assigned based on if you're available. And I play a little puzzle game because I get all these responses and I try to get the names and then have everybody spread out. So I actually had 42 replies. Many of them are not available, but everybody who said that they wanted to work is on the schedule for the next 3 days. A lot of them are brand new, and so they get a training shift. But it's a unique place because I did not know much about that end of people's lifestyle. And if I have time, we get to sit and just talk about stuff, or sometimes I've helped with referrals. Um, it feels really good because it's not that hard and it makes a big difference to people. And so in a short period of time, you have a 5 hour shift, you really get a connection. So I've been in emergency rooms with a kid that uh, he was ready to detox. I've helped somebody get there physically. We called the police and we worked with them to get her over there, and they came without their big uniform things and flashing. So it's a great experience. Which you probably, most of you have part of this experience, but it's a nice time because it's just, they know we want to be there. Like we're not being paid. And I hear very negative things about, let's say, Salvation Army. I'm not putting it on them, but it's big and it takes it's a huge need. But when they come here, they feel really cared for because we just want to give them the food and we want to, give them clothing and what else could, if they ask for something, we try and make it happen. And I think I think they feel that. I
How,
sometimes see people around town that I know from the shelter and might, say hello, that kind of
how
thing.
many beds are available in Silverdale?
Well, by the maximum is something like 45, but our maximum we've ever had is 23. I don't think we could ever fit anything like 45. And we generally have between 11 and 15. That's a pretty, we have been in the past generally the most used shelter of the three, with Port Orchard being close. Last year they beat us out. But they actually closed this year because no one showed up one of the nights. So that's unusual.
Well, sounds like to me Silverdale's the place to be when it's cold. So, all right. Well, we have are there any questions? I don't know if we have, I think we have a couple minutes for
We
questions.
have time for
Yeah.
questions.
Does
And
anyone want to unmute or drop a question? I didn't see any questions in the chat so far, so maybe I just did a really great job at asking all the right questions. But yeah, is there anyone have any questions for Amy?
I have a
April?
question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to ask if somebody shows up and has clothing that's wet or belongings, or do you guys offer laundry for them so they could wash their clothes while they're there overnight?
We don't have any facilities of shower. We don't have which the Y does, and it's pretty close. And I also just talked to them about daytime. We don't have any laundry facilities. We barely have electricity. We don't have a refrigerator because we don't have enough electricity to run one. But they often trade in their clothes.
Okay,
And
Did
thank
you
you.
mention where the Silverdale Severe Weather Shelter is located at the beginning? I can't remember.
No, so it was the Silverdale Methodist Church, but now it's the Silverdale Community Church. But it's the church at the corner of Silverdale Way and Ridgetop, and it's the low buildings that are parallel to Silverdale Way.
Perfect. Okay, great. Any other questions?
So how would you sign up to be a volunteer?
Ah, that's a good one.
So first of all, you could always also contact me and just ask any questions. I usually, when someone's a new volunteer or they think they want to be one, I usually spend about an hour or more on the phone with them, answering questions and kind of going over what it's like. Um, and then you get a training shift where I try to do two people who are experienced with a new person. And then you always work with a volunteer who knows what they're doing until you feel really comfortable. All of my policies or procedures are like a checklist that goes from the exact time you walk in, line by line by line. We ask people to open the book to that and follow it. So it's really comfortable. You know that you're not on your own. And there's a phone number if you have a crisis and don't know what to do. So all that. But it's on the county website. And if you,
Yeah, just put it in the chat.
there it is. And you just click on the link that says you want to volunteer and you fill out your application online and submit it. And the county does the background check. They will not do the application until you put in your headshot. One of the requirements is a headshot, could be just a cell phone headshot, but the application will sit there unless that photo comes in. So make sure that that's included. And then I get your name and then we speak and yeah. I can't stress enough. I went to the point in time 9 years ago. Oh, no. 6 years ago, I guess. I went to the point in time 6 years ago and I was asked to go to this shelter and interview people. And I was like, and I just thought it was great. I loved talking to the people and hearing their stories and they could ask me questions. It was a really, really great experience. So that's how I started.
Great. Thank you so much for your time today. Are there any final questions before we move forward? All right. Katie, you want to move on? Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Madison, and thank you, Amy. Just my comments. I just found that really meaningful. Thank you for sharing your perspective, Amy, about what it means to be a volunteer and really just being there for someone through opportunities like this. I think there's a lot of conversation around shelter right now and really just understanding different perspectives. And I think it's a great opportunity to do that.
So actually, I'd like to say one more thing about shelters in general, because I really didn't know, and there's many different kinds, and we're not really fixing anything when we're at the the severe weather shelter nighttime. We're not changing their life. But I did have somebody tell me this summer that because of the shelter, they didn't die and they have changed their life. And the shelter was like her biggest thing that she could thank. And so, because we saw her a lot. So that's really cool. And I guess the thing about the severe weather shelter is that it's definitely literally like a Band-Aid. But it is something that people feel really good about. And so, yeah.
Thank you again, Amy. It was meaningful to me. I hope it was meaningful to all of you and anybody who watches the recording in the future to really understand there's a lot of places we could help in our community, and this is a wonderful place to learn and grow. To transition to I'm glad you mentioned the point in time count, Amy, because our next topic is Project Connect. Allie, are you here? I see you.
I'm here. I just didn't want to eat on camera anymore.
So Allie from KCR and the Housing Solution Center is leading Project Connect coordination with the help of many wonderful volunteers. So next week is Project Connect. So Allie's going to share updates as well as Madison's going to help us with one more discussion to highlight any of our services that we're going to bring to Project Connect. So hopefully we have a lot of people sharing out today. So thank you, Allie and Madison.
Yeah, I sent out vendor information last week specific to the site, but just a rough overview. Silverdale, if you have the ability to bring your own table, you may bring it just in case. I know they were lacking on tables last year. I am going to bring some from KCR. But if you already, like your organization already has an outreach table, maybe just bring it just in case. Port Orchard should be fine. It is pretty tight and the tables are all reserved. And I think after talking to Eric today, the Bremerton location has enough tables, but KCR is right down the road, so we can figure it out. If you show up around 9 o'clock, Silverdale has a huge event center. There's lots of parking. Port Orchard, the parking passes are first come, first serve. There's not a lot of great parking in the area. Otherwise, it's street parking and limited time zone. Bremerton, you are able to park at Marvin Williams. I think there are some parking passes. And then there's, KCR has parking. We will try to accommodate, but between 8:30 and 9, if you want to show up to set up, we're super excited. I believe we're going to have haircuts at all 3 sites this year, which is something different than last year. And coordinated entry will be enrolling people as they come through with the survey, if that's what the participant wants to do. I would love to know if any of you have questions. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit behind on answering emails. I think I've gotten back to I've had a few late registers, and I think I've gotten back to most of them, but please feel free to email me again. I'll try to pay more attention to the most recent ones. We had connectivity issues since the beginning of the year. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the chat. I can answer. We also kind of wanted to go around and figure out what everyone's bringing into coordinated entry, or not, to Project Connect this year. And I think Madison was going to assist with something like that. So I'll toss it to her.
Yeah, thanks, Allie. Yeah, we just wanted to have everyone kind of share a quick brag about what you're bringing to Project Connect and maybe what location you'll be at. I know a lot of folks here, I'm sure, are participating in that. So if you want to raise your hand or just come off mute and put it in the chat, I'll read it. Let's see what's happening for Project Connects.
Our alumni are bringing hygiene packs for people that come through and offering a way to connect with our group of alumni to get involved if they want to attend some of our free events that we offer for people in the recovery community.
That's awesome. Thank you, April. Jason.
Yeah, this is Jason with the United Healthcare Community Plan of Washington. We'll be bringing some like hats and some gloves and some hygiene kits and Medicaid Apple Health resources.
Awesome. Is anyone bringing tote bags? Those are always super popular. I think sometimes the NCOs do. Oh, Rusty, are you bringing tote bags? Oh, you're muted. Oh, you got it in the bottom left corner. There you go.
Sorry.
No, you're
I
good.
clicked on it. I will go raid our closet when I'm in Tacoma. So probably some pins and some bags, and I don't know what all they've got in there. I probably have a lot of t-shirts, but I don't know what's left in there. But I will be bringing a lot of pamphlets. I actually have plenty of volunteers on short clients.
Okay.
Which is a different scenario to have.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this will be a good way to connect people with your services.
I'm out there all the time. I don't know where they've gone. Part of it is Kitsap Transit's so good at what they do. So, but yeah, I'll bring stuff of some kind. And candy. Always candy.
Oh yeah, that's great. Okay, I see. Housing Kitsap will be bringing paper applications and a laptop which can be used to apply online to our housing. at all 3 locations. That's great. Thanks, Jennifer. Jason with Kitsap Division of Aging and Long-Term Care will be at each location and providing information on direct service supports and subcontract providers with swag, pill organizers and pens, and information on community resources. DVR will have bags for sure and information about services at all locations. Kitsap Transit's going to be at the Bremerton location. Plan to bring schedule brochures, youth brochures, access and low-income applications, lanyards, flasher lights. Oh, I need one of those. And some customer service business cards. DSHS will have information available on services available and paper applications. Some giveaways, but they're not sure what yet. The Mobile Community Service Office is scheduled to be at the Bremerton location. Easter Seals Washington will be conducting in-person on-the-spot assessments for FCS services and passing out info for services. And Raina with CHPW will be bringing first aid kits, hand sanitizers, and resources for Apple Health. I think I got everyone in the chat. Oh, Coffee Oasis will be at all 3 locations. Information on all services to offer to people 13 to 25 and have socks, warmers, and goodie bags with candy. Awesome. This is a pretty great, well-rounded project.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
services and
Oh.
information.
Helpline House will be at the Silverdale event, primarily sharing information and resources services they offer. The case manager will be attending and will want to walk around to engage with individuals and other agencies. They may not need a table since they're sharing information and won't have specific services offered on site. I honestly, one of the best parts about going to Project Connect is connecting with other service providers. So even if you aren't arranged to be sitting at a table, I highly recommend making time for your schedule to go walk around and say hi to folks and make connections. It's a really great opportunity to network and yeah, make those connections. Eyeglasses in Bremerton with exam reading glasses at other sites. Networking is so good. Yeah, see? It's not just
And
me.
the Northwest Justice Project will have an attorney at each location, along with lots of documents and resources. I visited their table last year and they have lots of information and great information to hand out to everyone. So
That's great. Oh, maybe haircuts. Okay, we'll see. Don't hold me to that. Well, the chat is discussing it, so. Kitsap Immigration Project is going to have an attorney come too. That's great. OESD 114 Early Learning will bring books, toothbrushes, games, flyers, and tote bags. Fabulous.
This is Sonia from Easter Sales. I have a quick question.
Go for it.
Will there be, excuse me, someone there to tell us where our spot is? As I recall, at the Bremerton location, it's a big area. So is there someone with a map?
So there will be a check-in table. We'll be hosting a check-in table at the front of the building, but also in the emails that Allie's been sending out, and Allie can speak to this. Locations, addresses, anything you could need. We're trying to provide instructions. So if we're not clear on something, please let us know and we can send it out to the whole group. Right, Allie?
I CC'd the site coordinators and all the events in the instruction emails. Each site has their own coordinator, but I will be there. And if you have any questions, I will try to be up front and center and help everyone figure out what it is we need to do.
And this is Roland speaking for South Kitsap. So there'll be an unloading in the front of the church, and we'll have 2 or 3 people out there with carts to help unload the vehicles, get them into your tables, and assign to where you need to be. But at least for Easter Seals, I don't have you signed up for South Kitsap.
No, we're signed up for Bremerton.
Okay, great, thanks.
Bremerton Food Line will have apples and will be registering before their services. Is there Wi-Fi at the locations? Allie, do you know?
I believe so.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
reminds
there
me of
was
a
the-
good question for last year, Allie, and we could do that at the check-in table. We can provide a Wi-Fi,
Yeah,
the
there we
Wi-Fi
go.
password in the network at the tables so that you'll all have access. And I know Roland could speak to this. I know there's Wi-Fi at South Kitsap.
Yes,
And Salvation Army.
yes, for South Kitsap.
And New Life. So I think all the locations have.
Yeah, we have our
Great.
final meeting tomorrow, so we will get that information from the hosts and we will
Have it available.
have it available.
Right. And PCHS will be providing flu vaccines on our mobile Bremerton only. Navigators for any insurance questions or enrollment, tote bags, swag, resources from Olympic Connect, BCCHP, SHIBA, WHPF, lots of acronyms. Will be at all 3 events. And Rusty also said I'll be able to do intakes of low-income seniors for free transportation to medical appointments. Silverdale and Port Orchard. That's great. All right. Wow, quite the lineup for Project Connect. That's great.
And we
Anyone
are,
else?
and I just wanted to mention, Madison, we're trying to capture all this in the chat and with AI right now so that we can hopefully put this out too, so everybody can have it ahead of schedule so that we'll all know what we're bringing, and we can talk more about what that looks like tomorrow too, Allie. But if there is a pause on the services, keep chatting if you want to share your services. I can share the website where you can find all this information as well.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Okay. And share. Mhm. Okay, can you see the website?
Yes, we can.
All right, so this is the kitsap.hhc.org website. Of course, this is the homepage of the coalition's website. It's the easiest way to get the information about Project Connect. Just go to kitsap.hhc.org and then click on Project Connect. This page is updated as we get more information. Specifically, I closed registration for vendors last week, so I updated the website to make sure that was not available as a form anymore, so we could start doing this communication out to everyone, make sure everybody's prepared, make sure the site coordinators have what they need to assign tables. So that's what they're working on now. And on the website, you can find information, find the locations. Let me highlight the dates. Here we go. Next week, January 27th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at New Life in Silverdale. Wednesday, January 28th at 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Port Orchard. This is a big change from last year, just to remind everyone. We probably, since anybody can remember, we probably had Silverdale, Bremerton, Port Orchard. This year, we're having Silverdale, Port Orchard, Bremerton. So Bremerton's on Thursday and Port Orchard's on Wednesday. And that's specifically because there's a lot more services that sometimes get offered at Bremerton, that we want to make sure that if somebody goes to Port Orchard and say there's no haircuts there, but they want a haircut, that we could make sure that they can get the information to get transported to Bremerton the next day, because there will be haircuts there. So this hopefully offers more opportunity to access the services when they are not at every location. Maps to the locations, the site sponsors, and Kitsap County and Suquamish Tribe. And then vendor registration, like I said, it's closed, but if you have any questions, Allie's contact is in there. Just as Allie mentioned, if you need to reach out and you have a specific question, don't hesitate to email her. I did post about the point in time count. I don't know if we've talked about it today, but as a reminder, Project Connect is an event that supports a point in time count. So the point in time count will be at the entry point, and everybody who participates in Project Connect, who wants to go around and look at the resources and the tables, will also participate in the point in time count surveys. So this is the information about volunteering. Volunteering closed last week. I don't know if Corey has the information on there. I know you're going to talk about it a little, but it's still up here on the website. So, and then there's flyers. Allie had some. I don't know, Allie, do you have any left over to distribute?
I do have some flyers still. We have passed out most of the postcards, I believe, through outreach.
And if you click on these, you can access the printable file. Feel free to print them out and post them or hand them out. We have both Spanish and English and in postcard format or regular 8.5 by 11 flyer size. And then the nice thing is we're talking about vendor resources today. At the bottom of the page, this shows a snippet of what the vendors are bringing and the locations they will be at. So this is just based off registration. And so whatever information you're registered with is included in this abbreviated table. So just providing your website. So again, if anybody has questions about who's going to be where, you can find it on the Project Connect webpage.
Thanks, Kitty. One more comment from Roland. Eye exam will be done at Bremerton, and then people need to return in a few weeks to pick up their prescription glasses. Just a reminder.
Well, it looks like there's no other chats right now, but thank you again for everybody for participating in our discussion today. This is a great way to share out, and looks like Chuck says that he's got some local post offices to post the flyers on their information boards in their lobbies. So we appreciate all of you for getting the word out. It's next week. We really want to encourage participation because we are all bringing all these resources, and it'd be amazing to make sure that as many people who want or need to come can come. All right, so keep sharing your resources if you'd like in the chat. We're going to transition to the next item, which is our update from Kitsap County and more about the point in time count. So, Carl?
I want to thank Amy for doing a presentation on the severe weather shelters. We do always need volunteers for that, and it is one of the more important things that we do in the county during the very cold times, wind and rain for that. But we are doing the point in time count, so I'm going to turn it over to Corey to let him talk a little bit more about the point in time count now.
So yeah, the point in time count is a survey that we do. It has been annually. In the past, in Washington State, we were required annually to do a unsheltered count. The point in time count also includes people that are in shelters and transitional housing as well. So there's kind of two components, the unsheltered and the sheltered count. The Project Connect fairs were one of the ways that we tried to help connect people with that are unsheltered, to survey them and connect them with outdoor gear if that's available, as an incentive to bring people into the Connect fairs that might be experiencing homelessness. We also send out volunteers to food banks and meal sites. And then we do have outreach teams that will be going out and doing surveying out where people live, outdoors or in vehicles, that the outreach teams work with on a regular basis. So the count is, the night of it is technically Thursday, January 29th into Friday morning. At the Connect fairs and stuff, we ask people where do they plan to be staying that night, and if they'll be experiencing homelessness at that time. And then for people that are surveyed after that, like at food banks or with outreach teams, they'd be asking on that night, Thursday night, where did you stay? What was your living situation? So we survey people as our method here in the county. So we try to make sure we've got a number of streams that we're trying to survey people through. And then we try to collect that information, make sure that we're counting people only once, and then that reporting is used to kind of create a snapshot of homelessness in Kitsap County year over year. The information we collect, we will typically have a preliminary report available around about mid-March, typically, of how many people were surveyed and the living situations that they were in at the time. Down the road, the requirements for the state have now been changed to match the federal requirements, is that the unsheltered count is required every other year. So we'll see next year if we decide to do another unsheltered count, or if we will go along with the federal requirements at that point in time. So we've got volunteers signed up to do a number of different activities. Right now, I think I've got 65 volunteers that are registered. I'm hoping I've got enough volunteers in Bremerton. It's, you get a lot of people signed up, and then on the day of, sometimes it's hard for people to get there. And, we never know with illnesses and things that are going around if that will affect anybody. So I'm hoping that we'll have enough surveyors in Bremerton. We've maxed out our surveyors in Silverdale and Port Orchard. And I'm still working on getting all of the materials put together that need to go out to all the different locations and teams. Training for any of you that participate. I do have a new training video that I just got finished today. That'll be going out by email to anybody that's registered to participate. There are a number of changes to the form this year. And so there are kind of things are reordered a little bit differently. And HUD remove the data element for gender, so that's not collected on the general form this year. But we also do have some local questions that we ask, and so that is one place where we may be able to collect that information. Yeah, so next week we'll have surveyors at the Project Connect fairs Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, through most of the food banks over the time period of Wednesday through Friday of next week. We'll be doing a training with outreach teams on Monday and a supply swap. So we bought a lot of incentive supplies that we can give to outreach teams for them to have on hand and to give out to people that they're interviewing next week. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So I live in Port Orchard, and I know there's a group of people living in the trees over here by my house. Do those type of situations get counted? I mean, how do you know that those people are there? I guess that's what I'm asking.
Well, we would rely on outreach teams that work with people that are living outdoors to be able to make that connection, or those people that are living outdoors may be coming to one of the meal sites.
Okay.
And
I just wondered because they've been there for like, I've lived here a year. And like the police all know that they live there. So I just wondered if they got counted. I'm used to, we have a homeless shelter right next to us in Tacoma. So I'm used to like seeing them gather places, but I've never seen these people really ever go anywhere.
Yeah, we are very familiar with that. It's within inside the city limits of Port Orchard. And if they need heart teams go in and talk with them when they're invited in. So yeah, the heart team and the real team and all the outreach teams are very familiar with every encampment and small, camp set up throughout the county. So they'll be doing that all next week and going out and reaching people and finding them.
Thank you. That I was going to go over there because it's I've seen one of them, but I know there's many more of them. So.
Which one? Where's that located at, Rusty?
I live off of Sydney and Lippert, so it's kind of back on. I would think it's probably considered maybe Flowers Avenue.
Okay. Yeah, we're
back in that.
Yeah, there's one
behind Powers Park, basically.
Okay. Yeah, there's a couple of encampments down there that the police basically say, they don't let outreach go in because there is one of them, there's a dog who's very protective. And so the sheriffs will go in because for some reason all dogs love Deputy Woolner. So he goes in, he's fine. But they didn't like his partners, so he's kind of kept it to where only the sheriffs will go into those areas. So and you can always go into Kitsap 1, report it, and then that way Dave can, I'm sure we already know about it, but Dave can make sure that everybody's, it's a safe place to go into. We always let law enforcement go in first to make sure it's a safe location, and then they let us know one way or the other.
I wondered about that. the policeman that came to my house about something else, people walk away with things a lot in this neighborhood. That police officer knew of the group living there. The lady police officer didn't. When I said the people living in the trees, she kind of looked at me like I was not being serious. And I went, no, seriously, they're living back there in the trees. And but he knew about it. So
Yeah, Verna Lisa is the new outreach supervisor for Heart at KCR. And so she will be in touch with you, Rusty.
thank you very much. Makes me feel better.
Hi, Verna Lisa here. I put my email in the chat. If you send me the location and the information, I will certainly get with Deputy Walder and make sure that it's a safe site for us to enter into. And I will have my team reach out. If not my team, I will reach out to the real team, and we'll definitely get someone to look into it to make sure people get offered services.
Thank you very much. That means a lot.
Absolutely.
Yes, and I have to thank our outreach professionals. They're just fantastic. It's so much safer to trust in their expertise and knowledge rather than having volunteers go out for 4 hours on a morning to places where people might be. So they do a fantastic job, and it's I'm so glad that they're able to help us with this.
Any other questions for Corey? We're looking forward to seeing what we have after this point in time count. I think we're going to get one of the most accurate counts we've ever had. The outreach teams know where all the locations are. Health District is working with us again this year, and they know a lot of areas that have been reported just strictly for health reasons. So combination of everybody doing what they do best is how we get the best count. Thanks, Katie.
Thank you, Carl and Corey. And just to clarify, did you mention that the best way to report a possible encampment or individuals that might need support from the Heart team is to go to Kitsap 1?
Yeah. Even if you're in Bremerton, if you go to Kitsap 1, they will forward it to the Bremerton 1. So either Kitsap 1 or Bremerton, and preferably Kitsap 1, and then that way it gets on Derek's radar. And when Kitsap 1, when he gets an alert from Kitsap 1, he is there within 24 to 48 hours, either with Verna Lisa's team or Derek and Dave. But usually it's we send Dave Walder in first for him to double check if it's safe and they're ready to go. Then he will let Dave, or he'll let Derek know, and then Derek will let Verna Lisa, or Derek will go. So we try to keep safety first.
Thank you. And it's nice to have one point of contact when, again, not calling 911, just to make sure that people are safe, or just reporting that there might be somebody might need outreach services. So thank you, Carl. All right, let me just make sure I'm catching everything on the agenda. And the last agenda item is the agency updates. Again, thank you everybody for sharing your services and what you'll be bringing to Project Connect. If you do have any updates you'd like to share with other agencies, please, you can put your name in the chat. We can call on you, or you can raise your hand, and this is an opportunity for you to share out. And I know that a lot of you find value in this place to share. So make sure if you have anything, it's just a point of information. I think everybody would appreciate you sharing. So thank you. And while I'm waiting for everybody to raise their hand or chat, I did want to mention, I think there's a homeless, I think it's, somebody can correct me, but it's the Washington Low Income Housing Alliance. And they're hosting a homeless, the HHAD, the Advocacy Day on the Hill. You can find more information on their website, But if you want to get more involved in these issues on the Hill, at the Capitol, there's a lot of opportunities through the Washington Low Income Housing Alliance.
I think that's
Erin?
Monday.
It's next week. Yeah, I know it's
Yeah.
quick. I don't know if there's any signups right now, but they do great emails, great information come out from just getting signed up for their mailing list. So I just wanted to put that out there, that it's a great opportunity to learn more about some of the issues that are being talked about right now through the legislation. Erin?
Yes. So just to reiterate what Corey said in the chat, I just wanted to share that we have increased our service hours Sunday through Wednesday, 11 to 6 p.m. So if you don't mind kind of sharing with our shared clients as well, we will be having a client management outreach, Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays between essentially 11 and 1:30. And we would love it's because we have expanded hours, we're really trying to be kind of a one-stop shop for additional resources. So if you happen to see an event posted on Facebook, we would love your help kind of with engagement and as well as just getting the word out to our shared clients. Thank you.
Thank you, Erin.
Of course.
Jason?
Yep. So just kind of a quick reminder, we're still, so Kitsap Aging Long-Term Care, we're still operating our information and referral resource line. So if anybody needs information, we do keep a lot of this information that we've talked about, resources for our homeless population. We can provide some of that. We also have monthly program overviews that we do online. So if you're interested in signing up, just go onto our website at agingkitsap.com and I'll post that as well. We're also doing a little bit more with our Walk Cares team, which I recognize might not be for much of the population that we're supporting here, but for anyone working, it's Washington State's long-term care benefit. So we're doing a lot more with that than we have. So, but yeah, just mostly information and referral hub, and we're looking forward to meeting everyone at the Project Connect events. So.
Thank you, Jason. And Tyler?
Howdy. So my name's Tyler Caston with Kitsap Regional Library. We just got a new database that I wanted to plug. It's BrainFuse Job Now. And it's free with a library card with us, and it has live job coaching. They'll have someone that will actually just be with you from 11 to 8 if you want them to, for free, to match you with a job, to help you apply to a job, to prep for a job, along with a live interview coach, someone to go over your resume as well, and even a person to help you with completing unemployment forms. And it's totally free. You just need your library card, or you do it's all in library. Yeah, and it's new thing and exciting.
Do you have to go to the library to use that resource?
You can use it at your home. You just need to have a library card. So either you can use it in library without one, or if you have a library card, you can use it anywhere that you want. You can use it if you were even vacationing in Florida. It doesn't matter. It's as long as you have a library card with us, you can log in.
Amazing. Thank you, Tyler. Madeline?
Hi there. I'm Maddie. I work at the YMCA of Pierce and Kitsap counties, and we're one of the partners with Olympic Connect, which is a community care hub that serves Jefferson, Kitsap, and Clallam counties. It's under Olympic Community of Health, if you're familiar with that. But I'll put it in the chat too, but just spreading the word about Olympic Connect is hosting focus groups to learn more about how people find resources in the area. So it's specifically for people who are ages 25 to 54 who are underemployed or unemployed. So they can come to these focus groups, and then they basically it helps learn about how they learn about those resources. People can get a $100 gift card for participating. There are bus vouchers available, and then some of the focus groups have childcare. We actually have a focus group coming up at the Hazelwood Y in Silverdale on the 29th. But I'll put the link that people can sign up if they are interested in participating. And then Olympic Connect reaches out to them from there to share about upcoming groups. So thank you.
Thank you, Maddie. Let me see. I don't see any. There's a lot of information in the chat. Brenda Lisa says, Tyler, will you please forward me the information about that brain fuse, I believe. And Erin, you still have your hand up. Did you have another thing to share? Tyler, I assume you are just making sure of covering everyone. And I'll just give everybody a little bit more time. And from Bremerton Housing Authority's perspective, we noticed recently that, so our office is open every weekday, 9 to 4 on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, and on Wednesdays, 10:30 to 4. But Google, because our housing services office and our front desk moved to the Norm Dix Government Center, our old address is no longer accessible to the public, but you can access our front desk at the Norm Dix building. The problem is Google decided that it was going to change our address back to the 600 Park building based on, I don't know, suggestions or something happened. So we are trying to get that updated with Google, but just to let everybody know here, that information is on our website under our contact us page. But we're going to try to get the word out more about how we are accessible, but at the Norm Dix building on the 2nd floor. And no longer at 600 Park, we just accept deliveries there. And so that's where our administration building is. So just to clarify that for everyone here, and please share that with your clients. We are open to answer questions. Our front desk is open. It's just at the Norm Dix building now. So let me know if you have any questions about that as well. Anything else? Well, thank you, everyone. This is a great meeting to start the year. Dawn, do you want to share since you shared in the chat?
Yeah, I mentioned this last time too, but I just wanted to share it again because it's so very important and is happening all around us. The basic food work requirements have returned, and the exemptions that we experienced before have not been approved. One of them was homelessness, and especially chronic homelessness. People that experience homelessness typically do have many barriers to gainful employment, and those exemptions are not active anymore. So homeless is no longer an exemption for the work requirements. And so the work requirements, anybody that is an able-bodied adult without dependents has to meet certain work requirements in order to maintain eligibility for basic food benefits. If they don't, they're only eligible for 3 months of basic food within a 3-year period before they lose eligibility. And so the 3 months does not have to be in a row, but we're going to see people using those 3 months in a row here very quickly. And I just wanted people to know that because we're going to see people experiencing a lot of food insecurity in and around Kitsap County, actually across the state and the country, because these rules are coming back. They came back with the One Big Beautiful Bill. And it's going to affect a lot of our population. So I just wanted people to know that and be aware of that. And yeah, because it's gonna affect everybody.
Thank you, Dawn. And if you need to, come to every meeting and remind us of that because it's a big change. And I don't know if everybody's ready for it yet, but here it is.
Yeah, it's here and we're not ready.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you again, everyone. Always willing to share your updates through our newsletter. If you email admin@kitsap.hhc.org, we can get that in the newsletter. If you're interested in doing a presentation for a future meeting, please reach out. We may reach out to you as well. We heard some great resources today, and we are excited to see you at Project Connect next week. Thank you, everyone.